Hello, esteemed gentlemen. Betrayal is the only truth that sticks. Arthur Miller. When a Sigma male faces betrayal, it's not just a momentary sting. It's a seismic shift that reverberates through his entire being. But what sets him apart is how he responds to it. This isn't your average reaction. There's no chaos, no drama, just a calculated, almost eerie calm. Beneath the surface, though, he's engaging in a series of moves that are as intricate as a chess game, each one designed to turn the tables and emerge, not just unscathed, but stronger, sharper, and utterly untouchable. In the world of a Sigma male, betrayal isn't an end. It's the beginning of a transformation that's as fascinating as it is formidable. Number 1. Emotional alchemy. When a Sigma male experiences betrayal, he doesn't just wallow in the pain like most would. Instead, he channels that hurt into something entirely different, almost like he's found a way to hack his emotions. It's as if he takes all the bitterness, anger, and disappointment and throws it into a metaphorical blender, only to pour out something far more potent and refined. A cocktail of wisdom, strength, and unshakable resolve. It's not about denying the pain, it's about transforming it into a tool for self-improvement. The betrayal becomes less about the act itself and more about what he can gain from it. He's not wasting energy plotting revenge or spiraling into self-pity. Instead, he's busy upgrading himself, sharpening his mind and strengthening his character. It's like he's taken all that emotional garbage and turned it into pure gold, using it to fuel his next move. The best part? While everyone else is stuck in the drama, trying to figure out how he's so unbothered, he's already miles ahead, using the betrayal as a springboard to something better. It's a kind of emotional alchemy that most people wouldn't even think possible. But for a Sigma male, it's just another day at the office. And honestly, it's kind of funny how the very thing meant to break him only ends up making him even more untouchable. Number 2. Calculated detachment. When a Sigma male faces betrayal, his response isn't your typical emotional outburst or dramatic confrontation. Nope. He's way too calculated for that. Instead, he goes into what can only be described as stealth mode. He emotionally detaches, and does it with such precision that it's almost like he's flipping a switch. It's not that he doesn't feel the sting, but he's mastered the art of stepping back and creating a mental distance that most people can't even comprehend. This detachment isn't some cold, heartless reaction. It's a deliberate and strategic move. He understands that staying emotionally involved in the situation would only cloud his judgment and weaken his position. So he pulls back, almost as if he's viewing the whole thing from a bird's-eye view. He sees the betrayal, the motives behind it, and the likely outcomes, all without letting it drag him down. It's like he's pressing pause on his emotions to get a clearer picture of what's really going on. The beauty of this approach is that it leaves everyone else completely baffled. While others might be running around trying to figure out what he's thinking or planning, he's already a few steps ahead, analyzing every angle without any emotional baggage slowing him down. And while people might mistake this detachment for indifference, the truth is he's just playing a different game altogether, one where emotions don't get to call the shots. In the end, his calm, calculated approach isn't just about survival. It's about ensuring that betrayal doesn't get the satisfaction of throwing him off course. He's too smart for that, and frankly, it's kind of amusing how his cool, collected demeanor ends up being more unsettling to those who wronged him than any angry outburst ever could be. Number 3. Strategic withdrawal. When a Sigma male encounters betrayal, he doesn't make a big deal out of it. Instead, he opts for what can only be described as a strategic withdrawal. This isn't some dramatic exit where he slams doors and burns bridges. Nope. He's far more subtle and calculated than that. He pulls away quietly, almost like he's fading into the background, but don't be fooled. He's not retreating in defeat. He's simply removing himself from the situation to reassess and regroup, all while maintaining his dignity and composure. This withdrawal is all about regaining control. He knows that staying in a toxic environment or engaging in a pointless confrontation would only drag him down, so he steps back. It's like he's taking a breather, but with a purpose. He's not running away. He's repositioning himself, moving out of the line of fire so he can come back stronger and more focused. And while everyone else is left wondering where he went, he's already plotting his next move, miles ahead of the chaos he left behind. The brilliance of this approach is in its simplicity. There's no need for grand gestures or dramatic confrontations. He just quietly steps away, and in doing so, he leaves the drama behind. It's almost funny how people don't even realize they've been outmaneuvered until it's too late. By the time they notice his absence, he's already shifted the playing field in his favor, with a calm, almost effortless grace that leaves others scratching their heads. In the end, his strategic withdrawal isn't about avoiding conflict. It's about choosing his battles wisely and making sure that when he does engage, he's in a position of strength. Number 4. Self-reliant healing. When a Sigma male gets hit with betrayal, he doesn't sit around waiting for someone to throw him a lifeline. Nope, he dives straight into self-reliant healing. He's not the type to vent to a bunch of people or seek out sympathy. He's more likely to take a walk by himself, clear his head, and start piecing together a plan for moving forward. He knows that true healing doesn't come from others, it comes from within, and he's got that inner strength on lockdown. This self-reliance is his superpower. Instead of getting bogged down by what happened, he focuses on what he can control, himself. He takes time to process the betrayal, but he's not wallowing in it. He's analyzing it, understanding the lessons it holds, and figuring out how to use it as a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. It's like he's his own therapist, but one who doesn't charge by the hour and doesn't need to hear about your childhood. What makes his approach so effective is that it's deeply personal. He knows exactly what he needs to heal, and he gives himself that, whether it's time alone, diving into a passion project, or setting new goals that push him forward. While others might be stuck in the past, replaying the betrayal over and over, he's already focused on the future, using the experience to sharpen his mind and strengthen his resolve. And let's be honest, there's something kind of satisfying about knowing he can handle it all on his own. While others might need a support group or a motivational pep talk, he's got everything he needs right there inside him. It's not that he's shutting people out, he's just fully aware that at the end of the day, his healing is his responsibility, and he wouldn't have it any other way. There's a quiet power in that, a sense of self-assurance that's not easily shaken, and it's what allows him to bounce back, better and stronger than before. The betrayal might have knocked him down for a moment, but with his self-reliant approach to healing, he's back on his feet and moving forward before anyone else even knows what hit him. Number 5. Silent revenge. When a Sigma male is betrayed, don't expect him to go all out for revenge in some flashy, over-the-top way. No, his approach to getting even is far more subtle, but that's what makes it so effective, and frankly, a bit terrifying. He's not going to shout from the rooftops or wage a public battle. Instead, he opts for silent revenge, the kind that you don't see coming until it's too late. This isn't about being vindictive for the sake of it. For him, it's more of a matter of principle. You crossed a line and now there are consequences, just not the ones you were expecting. He's the type to take his time, to wait until the perfect moment when your guard is down, and then he'll strike in a way that's so precise and well-timed that you'll be left wondering how he managed to outmaneuver you without you even noticing. It's a form of justice that's quiet, calculated, and quite honestly, a little unnerving. What makes his silent revenge so powerful is that it's almost invisible. While others might resort to loud confrontations or dramatic gestures, he's playing a deeper game. He's the one pulling the strings behind the scenes, setting things in motion that will have a ripple effect long after the initial betrayal. By the time you realize what's happened, he's already moved on, leaving you to deal with the aftermath. The irony is, his silence speaks louder than any angry words ever could. It leaves a lasting impression, a reminder that he's not someone to be taken lightly. And while you're left trying to piece together how things went so wrong, he's already back to his usual self, calm, composed, and completely unbothered. It's a masterclass in revenge Sigma style, quiet, efficient, and devastatingly effective. Number 6. Critical reflection. When a Sigma male experiences betrayal, he doesn't just brush it off or let it fester. He dives deep into critical reflection. But don't mistake this for overthinking or self-blame. He's far too practical for that. This reflection is more like a forensic analysis of what went down. and it's all about getting to the bottom of things without letting emotion cloud his judgment. He takes a step back and starts dissecting the situation piece by piece. What were the signs he missed? What was the real motive behind the betrayal? How could he have played it differently? It's almost as if he's solving a complex puzzle and every detail matters. This isn't about dwelling on the past, but about extracting every possible lesson from the experience. He knows that the more he understands, the better equipped he'll be to navigate future challenges. There's also a certain level of brutal honesty in this process. He doesn't sugarcoat things or shy away from hard truths. If he made a mistake in trusting someone, he owns it, but he doesn't beat himself up over it either. Instead, he uses that insight to recalibrate, to refine his instincts, and to make sure he's sharper and more discerning the next time around. What's intriguing about this approach is how methodical it is. While most people would be lost in the emotional whirlwind of betrayal, the Sigma male is coolly sifting through the rubble, gathering intel. It's like he's conducting an internal audit, and nothing escapes his scrutiny. By the end of it, he's armed with a deeper understanding of human nature, his own vulnerabilities, and the strategies needed to protect himself in the future. And let's not forget the added bonus. This level of reflection often reveals just how predictable people can be. By seeing through the layers of deceit, he not only learns from the betrayal, but also gains an almost uncanny ability to spot similar patterns in others. It's like he's taken betrayal and turned it into a masterclass on human psychology, one that leaves him wiser, tougher, and nearly impossible to fool the next time around. Number 7. Guarded vulnerability. When a Sigma male deals with betrayal, he doesn't let his guard down completely, but he also doesn't put up a wall so high that no one can get through. Instead, he masters the art of guarded vulnerability. It's a balancing act. He's open enough to stay authentic, but careful enough to protect himself from getting burned again. This guarded vulnerability means that while he may share his thoughts and feelings, he's selective about who gets to see the deeper layers. He knows that not everyone deserves full access to his inner world, especially after betrayal has shown him just how risky that can be. So, he keeps the doors slightly ajar, enough to let in those who've proven themselves trustworthy, but never wide open for just anyone to stroll through. What's compelling about this approach is that it allows him to stay connected without losing his sense of self-preservation. He's not shutting himself off from the world, but he's also not naive enough to let anyone take advantage of his openness. This guarded stance doesn't make him cold or distant. In fact, it adds a layer of intrigue. People might think they know him, but there's always a part of him that remains just out of reach, and that's exactly how he likes it. By maintaining this balance, he avoids the extremes of becoming overly cynical or dangerously naive. He learns from the betrayal, adjusting his boundaries accordingly, but he doesn't let it turn him into someone who's afraid to trust altogether. He understands that vulnerability is still important, but only when it's tempered with a good dose of caution. This makes him a bit of an enigma, someone who's approachable yet mysterious, open yet guarded, and always a few steps ahead of anyone who might think about betraying him again. In the end, his guarded vulnerability becomes one of his greatest strengths. It keeps him resilient without hardening his heart, and allows him to navigate the complexities of relationships with a level of wisdom and self-assurance that most people can only aspire to. He's learned that it's possible to be vulnerable without being exposed, and that's a lesson that serves him well, no matter what life throws at him next. Number 8. Nonconformist resilience. When a Sigma male faces betrayal, he doesn't crumble or lose his way. Instead, he taps into a kind of resilience that's as unique as it is powerful. Nonconformist resilience. This isn't your typical bounce-back story where someone gets up, dusts themselves off, and keeps going. No, the Sigma male's approach is different because he doesn't just get back up. He gets back up on his own terms with a defiant sense of purpose that says, "I'll do this my way." What makes his resilience stand out is that it's rooted in his refusal to be shaped by the expectations of others. Society might tell him to react with anger, to seek revenge, or to wallow in self-pity. But he's not interested in playing by those rules. Instead, he charts his own course, often surprising those who think they've got him figured out. He takes the pain of betrayal and uses it as fuel, not to conform to what's expected, but to forge a path that's uniquely his own. This nonconformist approach means he's not afraid to reinvent himself if that's what the situation calls for. Betrayal might knock him down, but it also gives him the opportunity to reassess, to rethink, and to evolve in ways that others wouldn't dare. He doesn't just bounce back. He bounces back as someone stronger, smarter, and even more attuned to his own values and desires. He knows that true resilience isn't about returning to who you were before. It's about becoming an even better version of yourself. And there's a certain freedom in this. By not conforming to anyone's idea of how he should respond, he liberates himself from the weight of expectation. He's not performing for anyone, not trying to prove anything. His resilience is quiet but unshakable, a kind of inner strength that doesn't need validation from anyone else. He's on his own path, and that path is taking him exactly where he needs to go, betrayal or not. In the end, it's this nonconformist resilience that makes the Sigma male so formidable. He doesn't just survive betrayal, he thrives in spite of it, coming out the other side more focused, more determined, and more unapologetically himself. He's living proof that you don't need to play by the rules to win the game. You just need to write your own. Thanks for tuning in. Please don't forget to share this video and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next vid, and bye.